A second arrest has been made in a plot to set off a car bomb at a U.S. Army post in Kansas. Alexander Blair is accused of failing to report the plot to authorities. On Friday, the FBI arrested 20-year-old John Thomas Booker, who allegedly vowed to wage jihad for ISIS. Officials say the would-be bomber thought he was delivering a van full of explosives to the base. In reality, they were fakes provided by FBI agents. Joining me now, Democratic Congressman John Garamendi, member of the Armed Services Committee and the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, joining me from California. With a welcome to you, sir. I know there's an obvious method to fighting ISIS in Syria and Iraq. You've got the airstrikes, you have the Iraq ground troops, but these homegrown threats are a different beast altogether. How long can we rely on the skill and, frankly, the luck of the FBI?
Well, it's certainly more than luck. It's really diligence. It's all the kind of gathering of intelligence and being aware. And frankly, one of the most important things are the neighbors. It's the community. Watching carefully, being aware, and when there's something strange going on that's out of order, or somebody is talking or emailing or has their blog or Facebook, we need to be aware. And so the community has a major role in this, and certainly the law enforcement agencies, the coordination, the FBI, the local police, state, and so forth, all of that is critical. Will we be able to prevent everything? Well, with the exception of the Boston bomber, yeah, we've been pretty fortunate all across this nation.
Yeah. Do you have any guesstimate, sir, as to how many investigations could potentially be underway of this nature here domestically?
No, I have no idea, but I'm sure, I know here in California that the state police, the highway patrol, the local community police, all of them are deeply engaged in watching carefully, being aware, gathering information, and I'm sure that there are specific suspects that we've seen from time to time being arrested. I know that across this nation there have been I think more than a couple of hundred arrests and convictions on various kinds of terrorism charges.
All right. When is the authorization for the use of military force against ISIS going to see a vote?
Well, I hope it happens the week we return next week, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. I believe this is absolutely essential. I think Congress has to carry out its constitutional responsibility. The President has put forth a proposal. I think there are some problems with it, and I think we can write a good authorization to use force. Specifically, it must be time limited. You know, maybe 3 years, and then at the end of 3 years, let's go back and revisit this, but a never-ending authorization as presently exists, and that's the 2001 authorization to use force in Afghanistan is now being used in Syria and in Iraq, and quite possibly it may be what, if we ever get further into Yemen, might be used there. So we need to be specific about this. We also need to know the cost, both in human lives, our own, and in those countries, as well as the financial cost and the financial burden going forward, immediately, and then the veterans.
Let's talk about something a little closer to home for you, and frankly to me too, California girl that I am, and that would be the drought there in the Golden State. First of all, how is this affecting your constituents, and what's been the reaction to those mandatory cutbacks?
Well, right off, I was listening to your weather report, and I got to tell you, I have real jealousy. Big rains everywhere but California. This is the 4th year. It is very, very serious. I have a district that spans 200 miles of the Sacramento River, up through Sacramento Valley, and we're seeing a third of the rice production not going into effect this year, just land being fallowed. In the San Joaquin Valley, the same thing. It's a major hit. It's multi-billion dollars, probably $3 to $4 billion in agriculture. And that goes back into the communities. Those are the farm suppliers, those are the farm workers, all of the agricultural equipment providers. All of those people are going to see a hit on this. In the urban areas, mandatory conservation in place. In the agricultural areas, already serious conservation underway. But this is also causing us to reevaluate agriculture in California, particularly the overuse of underground aquifers, a major, major problem with a dead-end street out ahead of us.
Yeah, and the governor's put out these fixes, short-term as they are, but long-term? I mean, you talk about watching the weather report. What more can you do?
Well, we can do things immediately. The federal government has about half a dozen programs for water, some of them urban, some small communities, Department of Agriculture, small community water supply, recycling programs do exist in federal law, and money's already available. What I would like to see us do is to stop the last 4 years of bitter fighting where basically the southern agricultural interests in Southern California, in my view, are trying to steal Northern California water. Stop that. Let's work together. There are programs that are immediately available. Recycling. There's 1 million acre-feet of water available in Southern California, not today, but in the years ahead, if we were to recycle. Similarly in Northern California, conservation, everything from toilets to sink in the urban areas to agricultural conservation, drip irrigation, canal management systems, all of those are readily available, and we need to focus the federal government programs on these immediate fixes, and some of them long-term. We need surface storage. We also need to manage our aquifers. While there's a new law in place, it is unfortunately a very long time before that law is going to be effective. We need to ramp that up and make it effective right now.
Clearly something you're very well versed in, listening to all these options and considerations for you. I want to ask you quickly about Hillary Clinton, as you know, expected to announce her presidential campaign tomorrow. Should she be your party's candidate?
Absolutely. I'm excited. I was with Hillary 8 years ago. I am so happy, so pleased that this campaign is actually going to get underway. She can get out there on the stage, get on the stump, and tell the American people why she is so well qualified. And her policy issues really meet the needs of this country. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing that campaign get up and get going. Yeah, I've been ready for Hillary a long time. Now let's get on with it.
Okay, California's John Garamendi. There you have it. Thank you so much. What a historic election means for the future of Ferguson. You're going to hear from a new councilman about the change he wants.